Visible?
We can begin.
Just a minute. Akila will give the introduction and then we'll.
So, good afternoon to one and all. Now we are moving to the.
Akila will give the introduction and then we'll.
So, good afternoon. So, good afternoon to one and all. We are moving on to the next plenary session of this day of our webinar. I would like to introduce and welcome the special speaker of this session, Parshadi Jinaj. She is an actor and theatre artist who is currently getting trained in performance at Adishakti Laboratory for Theatre Art and Research. As part of in LAC Theatre Award, she received she received an award in 2021. She is also a Carnatic music trained singer and a writer with a journalistic experience with The Hindu. She writes for magazines and papers on theatre, art, and music. Apart from this, she is a film buff and a lover of literature. I wholeheartedly welcome Parshadi Jainath for this session. Ma'am, please.
Thank you so much for that welcome, Akila. And thank you to the Department of English for inviting me for this event at St. Thomas College. And it's a well-deserved tribute for a great singer like Lata Mangeshkar. And I was telling Shyam that I would like to pay a musical tribute to the singer than more than design this as an academic discussion about her music and the popular cultural representation she had in the popular culture representation she has in India as such. I would like to take it forward as a musical journey, as an experiential journey, and from a performative perspective, from an artistic perspective. And I hope you will be engaged by this session. So the topic of the whole session is Lata in Love. I chose this topic because Lata Mangeshkar and Asha Bhonsle, both of them have epitomized two kinds of love for us, for Indian society across generations, and that too, importantly, for the post-independent India. While Lata is considered more of a conventional, feminine, and platonic kind of a lover, Asha Bhonsle is more leaning towards the fun-loving, the slightly naughty kind of a voice. So these bifurcations, is very interesting to see how these bifurcations have happened over the course of 6-7 decades in India, about how we define vamp and the good woman, how we define who's the goody heroine and who's the slightly more sensuous or slightly more off the box kind of a heroine. So these kinds of divisions by which we divide women, by the way we divide women's voices, how we categorize the good woman and the bad woman, it has all its links. You can find all the resonances that we as an Indian society believe in what is feminine and what is not feminine, or what is love and what is not love. We have these definitions resonating in the way we have defined Lata and Asha over the years. Since we are focusing on Lata today, I thought it is not so black and white. Even the pop cultural discourses that we seem to be listening about Lata not being the conventional feminine voice. How conventional is conventional, or how do we define conventional? And especially the kind of love which Lata's songs represented. Even them, we tend to categorize the love that we see in Lata's songs as flirty kind of love. It's mostly platonic, or it's him pining for her lover, the heroine who's separated from her lover and always idealizing the lover, thinking that he will never return, but she's ready to wait, she's ready to sacrifice. She doesn't mind, surrendering her entire life to this one lover. So people tend to consider Lata's songs mostly in the realm of this kind of a deep love. But again, when we do that, I feel we are confining the definition of love as well. You know, why do we feel love that is deep rooted, love that is slow burning, love which is maybe unfruitful, unrequited? Why is that love considered less of an earthly or a bodily experience than a love which is, at the outset of it is all about fire and sparks, and there's a lot of passion between the two people, and they're open-heartedly expressing their love? Why is the first love considered less exciting while the second love is considered, more palpable, or more experienceable kind of a love? So this is something that these ideas I've been toying with, and I think it's high time we blurred these boundaries, because I feel a slow burning love or an unrequited love, it can be as sensual as a love that has materialized between two people, and they are expressing it, and they are in it, and they're celebrating it. Both can be equally sensual, both can be equally celebratory in the way it approaches love and life. So in that way, I would like to take you through a musical journey where we go through Lata's songs, listen to them through my rendering, and maybe you could also understand the sense that I'm saying, just because right now you're just listening to me talk, listening to these words that I'm like throwing at you. There's a distance that words can produce, right? Like when I'm just engaging with you through words and language, there's always a distance, and we always approach it through the realm of ideas and through the realm of language. So maybe music can break the distance, and maybe you might understand what I'm saying better through music when I'm singing these songs to you. Take a song like Lag Gale, which is one of Lata's most famous song and most celebrated one of her iconic songs. It's about a woman who's telling her lover, let's get this night again. And maybe in this instance, we might not be able to be together, but but that's not let's let that not stop us from exploring our love. So there's a sense of it's not just love, it's so many emotions combined with this love. There's a yearning to it. लग जा गले के फिर ये हंसी रात हो न हो, शायद फिर इस जन्म में मुलाकात हो न हो, लग जा गले के फिर ये हंसी रात हो न हो, शायद फिर इसका न हो, लग जा गले। हमको मिली है आज ये घड़ियां नसीब से, जी भर के देख लीजिए हमको करीब से, फिर आपके नसीब में ये बात हो न हो, शायद फिर इस जन्म में मुलाकात हो न हो, लग जा गले कि फिर ये हंसी रात हो न हो, शायद फिर इस जन्म में मुलाकात हो न हो, लग जा गले। There's a little bit of fearfulness in this love because there is an element of supernatural in this song. The woman could be a ghost, the woman could be an erstwhile lover. Then you just see the song, it's up to your imagination to figure out who the woman is. But it definitely creates a sense of intrigue in the listener about who this woman could be. But is it a fear that is a life-threatening force? Is it a fear that debilitates your, day-to-day life? It's not. It's a fear that is very characteristic of the human fantasy that has always fantasized about what is it after death. It's a fear that we're all born with. The moment we start living, we think about what will it be if we die, if we stop existing. And it's not a fear that makes you anxious, but it's more of a curiosity. It's about what is that exciting phase after life. And the afterlife concept, the afterlife myths that we have in the Indian subconscious. All of that's why you have the words Janam in the song resonating. And Lata's voice really brings out the allure of that post-life mystery in the song. She takes the song from the realm of an unfulfilled love, and she takes it to another realm of the basic human curiosity about what is it after we die, what awaits us after life. So there's an unsaid depth to this kind of a love, which also makes us reflect about life. Take this other song, again, a very iconic song of Lata's, which again has a ghost presence in it. But again, the film aptfully is named as Wo Kaun Thi. So there is that mystery, there's that curiosity again around the lover, and the woman goes on to sing, नैना बरसे रिम छिम नैना बरसे रिम छिम पिया तोरे आवन की नैना बरसे रिम छिम पिया तोरे आवन की नैना बरसे रिम छिम रेशम नैना बरसे बरसे बरसे. And there are lines in this song that says, ये दिल अब तक भटकता है तेरी उल्फत की राहों में, सूनी सूनी राहें, सहमी सहमी बाहें, आंखों में है बरसों की प्यास, eyes which are full of years of longing. So these songs were never about love in its, very straight-jacketed definition. This was love of many nuances, love of many shades. And one may not be able to confine this love to just an attraction between a man and a woman, or a man and a man, or a woman and a woman, or any possible manifestations of it. It could be as fleeting. It could be as fleeting as two eyes meeting and exchanging tokens of affection during a train journey. But it could be as deep and as saddening as two souls waiting, pining for years for this love to be fulfilled, even though the world separates them from each other. It is suffering. In the modern sense of the word, it is dramatic. It is even melodramatic. It's even a cliche. But there's a certain sense of sensuality that the suffering brought in. And that captured almost all these songs which Lata sang. And even that spirit even carried through after many generations into a comparatively new film like Veer Zara. It's not so recent, but at least it's after so many generations of Latas. It's a new modern Bollywood song, and it was it was a film that was released in the after 2000, but it still carried that pain, the elements of longing, and the suffering kind of love, which the 50s and 60s Hindi cinema celebrated. It could be a post-independent India's consciousness also, but Lata somehow sustained that spirit through her voice, through her acceptability. She carried that spirit through her and brought it even into a new age, which is a commendable job for a playback singer to do. I cannot imagine tracks in Veer Zara without Lata Mangeshkar's voice. It's actually unimaginable. Nobody else could give voice to the heroine in that film, because that film itself epitomizes an old world love. And when we say old world love, does not mean love that belongs to the Victorian era or love that belongs to centuries ago. Old world, it's a state of mind. You can be a modern person, yet you can be an old world person. You can be an old soul in the way you approach speed, in the way you take choices in life, in the way you decide to pursue a certain lifestyle, in the way you fall in love, in the way you consume things in life. It's a state of mind, an old world. And Lata was old world, and she made old world quite sexy and sensual. So just take a look at this song. It's about a couple that has been separated by the state, by two countries, in fact, and a couple that's caught in the conflict between two countries at war, who have been at war at different phases, India and Pakistan. And they're meeting after a long time, and you have the singers singing, Kya karu duniya ne kiya mujhse kaisa bain, kya karu duniya ne kiya मुझसे कैसा बैर हुक्म था मैं जीऊं लेकिन तेरे बगैर नादा है वो कहते हैं जो मेरे लिए तुम हो गए कितने सितम हम पे सनम लोगों ने किए दिल में मगर जलते रहे चाहत के दिए तेरे लिए तेरे लिए हम हैं जिए होंठों को सिए तेरे लिए हम हैं जिए हर आंसू पिए दिल में मगर जलते रहे चाहत के दिए तेरे लिए so in this song you also have the woman complaining that look at what kind of suffering the world has inflicted upon me and you know how, in how many devious ways people tried to separate us but the fire of passion still burns within both of us so it's not that a long-standing deep love and passion are two antithetical concepts. Even in this very song, you have both these concepts, like a burning passion, which signifies the body, the instincts, the pleasure, everything. All of that is seen along with the sacrifice that also involves love. The, not so work. It's not very exciting. People say, to. So, love is also about sacrifice. Love is also about waiting. And that waiting and passion can also cliches that we talk about when we talk about love. So there's another song which Lata has sung, which kind of breaks the mold away from regular romantic love. So this again, it's a love that transcends the realm of romantic or sexual attraction. Now, Lata's penchant has also been about singing these kinds of songs that are not just about desire, but also about, that also philosophizes life. It's also a certain curiosity about life's challenges, the bafflement the human spirit has when it comes to certain challenges that life throws in front of him or her. Sometimes we're just baffled by life's certain twisted ways and plans and schemes. So she also sang songs that philosophized this state of life, a certain existential crisis that man had to go through in life. In these songs, Lata's voice took us back to our 5-year-old memories, bringing a sense of vulnerability, fragility, and even openness into our rigid adult selves. It was the love for innocence, affection, the unconditional care for a son or a daughter which a parent felt. Hmm, तुझसे नाराज नहीं जिंदगी हैरान हूँ मैं हैरान हूँ मैं तेरे मासूम सवालों से परेशान हूँ मैं हो परेशान हूँ मैं से नाराज नहीं जिंदगी हैरान हूँ मैं हैरान मासूम सवाल है, हो परेशान हूँ मैं जीने के लिए सोचा ही नहीं दर्द संभालने होंगे मुस्कुराए तो मुस्कुराने के कर्ज उतारने होंगे मुस्कुराऊं कभी तो लगता है जैसे कंधों पे कर्ज रखा है तुझसे नाराज नहीं जिंदगी हैरान हूँ मैं हैरान हूँ मैं तेरी मासूम सवालों से हो परेशान हूँ मैं life's questions that torment us throughout our existence. And you see these questions getting reflected in a child's eyes. And Lata beautifully captures that philosophical angst. Now, love can also be of a different kind. It could be an appreciation for life. It could be an appreciation for art, for poetry, for a beautiful film that you're watching in front of you, to a beautiful concert. You feel yourself expanding, your body language starts expanding. You sit up and you start breathing slowly, and it's a lot more. It's a spirit that makes you feel like you're growing in spirit. It's also a kind of love. In that way, love is an experientiality. It's not something that happens between two people. It's a certain state of being also. You don't need another person to be in that kind of a love. In Indian civilization, this kind of a love has been talked about. We have our Kabir, Mirabai, the saint poets, the Sufi tradition that celebrated this kind of a love. It could be a love that talked about God. It could be also a love that talked about the love for nature. So these songs, and it could also be a love that is all about surrender. I think. Hello.
Yes, you're
Hello?
audible. Yes, you're audible. Hello? I think some technical difficulties. Just a minute. Please stay back. Hello, it's a problem with the mobile network. She'll be back in a couple of minutes. Priyanka, are you there?
Hello, yes, sir.
Priyanka, yeah. Can you can you please sing a song if you don't mind? Then I mean, yeah, this during this difficulty of technical difficulty, it'll be great if you can think about singing something for us.
Okay, which one?
Because partially was actually creating a kind of mood and love and everything. It was like we were taken to some other world. And
Yes, when she talked about love being an experientiality, then I was, that glowing when we actually hit upon something.
yeah,
Yeah, I was feeling that. Maybe again, I'll again sing a couple of lines from Ajib Das Ka Hai. I hope you'll not be bored. अजीब दास्ता है ये, कहाँ शुरू कहाँ खत्म, ये मंजिलें है कौन सी, न वो समझ सके न हम, अजीब दास्ता है ये, कहाँ शुरू कहाँ खत्म, ये मंजिलें है कौन सी, न वो समझ सके न हम, ये रोशनी के साथ क्यों धुआं उड़ा चिराग से, ये रोशनी के साथ क्यों धुआं उड़ा चिराग से, ये ख्वाब देखती हूँ मैं कि जग पड़ी हो ख्वाब से, अजीब दास्ता है ये, कहाँ शुरू कहाँ खत्म, ये मंजिलें है कौन सी, न वो समझ सके न हम. Is that all right, sir?
wow, thank you, Priyanka. Thank you for that. And Parshadi is back now.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for this. Yeah. Okay. Nice song, Priyanka. It was beautiful.
Thank you, Didi.
So we were talking about this surrender, the surrender aspect of love as well. So it could be a surrender to a country, which we call in the modern day and age, we call it patriotism. Of course, when it goes to a violent space, it becomes jingoism. That's a different thing altogether. But a person who acts from a space of love and approaches these ideas of surrenders, it could be a surrender to a country, it could be a surrender to an art form. For instance, Kishori Amonkar, the famous Hindustani musician, she used to say, "I surrender to the rag." I'm not singing for the audience, but I'm singing for the ragam, the rag. Many of the Carnatic musicians also say the same way. So that is a different kind of a love altogether. And I'm not saying it's superior to the love between a man and a woman, or between two individuals, but I'm saying it's a love of a different nature. And interestingly, Lata was associated a lot with this kind of love as well. She was the face of patriotism, and there are stories where we've heard how Jawaharlal Nehru had tears in his eyes listening to her sing, "ए मेरे वतन के लोगों, ए मेरे वतन के लोगों, जरा आंख में भर लो पानी, जो शहीद हुए हैं उनकी जरा याद करो कुर्बानी, है मेरे वतन के लोगों, जरा आंख में भर लो पानी, जो शहीद हुए हैं उनकी जरा याद करो कुर्बानी." So it's a love that went beyond the earthly realm. Even if it was about a land, even if it was about the god, like in Satyam Shivam Sundaram, where the devotee sings about Krishna going and asking Yashoda, "Why am I dark and not Radha?" यशोमती मैया से बोले नंद लाला, राधा क्यों गोरी मैं क्यों काला, राधा क्यों गोरी मैं क्यों काला, यशोमती मैया से बोले नंद लाला, राधा क्यों गोरी मैं क्यों काला, बोली मुस्कुराती मैया ललन को बताया, काली अंधियारी आधी रात में तू आया, लाडला कन्हैया मेरा ओ, 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 लाडला कन्हैया. You have one more nuanced layer of love that's adding to the feeling of devotion, which is a mother's love. That's adding a lot more emotion to the song. That love which Yashoda has for Krishna. Krishna not even being her own son, still it's a state of love which a mother has for her son. So it's also a mother's love which is unfettered, unhinged, and non-judgmental and the most safe form of love that we sometimes we crave for in our relationships also. The modern psychology keeps saying that the failure of many of our love relationships is also has to do with our attachment patterns, our trauma memories which we have had with our mothers. So these are not tight-fitting compartments like romantic love, maternal love, pining for a love that is lost, yearning for love for motherland, the love for an art form. These have its overlappings in our life. And it's very beautiful to see how a singer like Lata could bring in a palette of different kinds of love, mix and match it, and offer it to us through all these songs across these many decades. Now, what about a love that is a surrender? I'm just adding one more nuance to this kind of a love. It's a surrender. It's a love which is melancholic. It's a love which tells you that it is not going to materialize. It is not going to happen. But does it make it less real? It does not. In fact, Lata, through her voice and through her emotiveness, made us feel that a love that is not fulfilled, it could be even more than the love that has had its fruition and so that was the beauty of Lata's voice. She added such an allure and charm to an unfulfilled love. And to that unfulfilled love, to that melancholy, to that surrender, if you add resistance, if you add a little tint of protest, what happens? When love is resistance, it becomes courage. Lata's voice urged us to fight against all the odds in this song, which became the voice of it could be even you could even see it as post-independent India's voice, a post-independent India that asserted its modern secular values of individual freedom and choice, right to love and live with the person of your choice. प्यार किया तो डरना क्या, जब प्यार किया तो डरना क्या, किया तो डरना क्या, जब प्यार किया तो डरना क्या, प्यार किया कोई चोरी नहीं की, चुप चुप आहे भरना क्या, जब प्यार किया तो डरना क्या, जब प्यार किया तो डरना क्या, प्यार किया कोई चोरी नहीं की, चुप चुप आहे भरना क्या, जब प्यार किया तो डरना क्या, जब प्यार किया तो डरना क्या. It could also be anchoring back to that strong Indian civilization that celebrated love, sensuality. Again, anchoring back to that Indian civilization that celebrated it in all its myths and legends, architecture, literature, theater pieces. It could be an ode to that as well. But this is a particular kind that combines passion, desire, along with elements of submissiveness, typical of the bhakti movement we're talking about, where the lover is ready to sacrifice and go through the hardships and melt into the ultimate gain. So words like passion, rebellion, protest, interestingly, they are also being they're also melding into, seeding into words like submissiveness, sacrifice, which are considered old world concepts. So again, we can see the blurring of these ideas happening through Lata's songs and Lata's voice. Again, when we come back to the element of melancholy, because melancholy is definitely an essential ingredient in Lata's emotive appeal. Melancholy can be a beautiful aspect of love as well as life. You know, melancholy, if you even look at it as a literary concept, you need an element of melancholy to think. Since you're all English literature students, you know that, you know, in order to write poetry or write any form of literature, you need to be reflective, you need to slow down, and you need to take life, you need to reflect on life, and you need to smile at life with a, you know, with a sad smile, wistful smile of acceptance when life throws lemons at you. So melancholy is an important skill, I feel. It's an important skill to have, to appreciate melancholy and not sink underneath it, but to derive creative inspiration from melancholy, to derive a life energy from melancholy. It's an important skill to have. It's also about aesthetics. It's also about enjoying life in all the package that it offers us. Even during a day, there are specific periods during the day when you feel, you in casual language you say, I'm feeling down. For me, that time during the day is 6 o'clock, when I feel, you know, a day is just ebbing away and I feel my spirit sinking down and I feel melancholic, an undefinable sadness. But it's also nice to enjoy it. So this state of melancholy, again, is a hallmark of Lata's love songs. And it's a melancholy that is sensuous, and it's a melancholy that makes us appreciate life, makes us feel life is worth living. It's not depressing. It's not a depressing kind of melancholy. It's a melancholy that takes us back to the beauty of life again. So when Lata sang the songs of these love and separation, one was drawn to the beauty of love that was left unsaid and unspoken. It was suggestive love, you know, it was not out there. Even if you see the visualization of these songs, they're extremely suggestive, unlike the songs we see today. There was a certain romanticism to sadness, an attraction to the silent suffering nature of an intense, unrealistic love. Again, it's as if the lovers don't want an easy existence. It's as if the lovers want the pain of separation. Okay, and we are back. So from the same film, Veer Zara. दो पल रुका ख्वाबों का कारवां और फिर चल दिए तुम कहाँ हम कहाँ दो पल की थी ये दिलों की दास्तां और फिर चल दिए तुम कहाँ हम कहाँ दो पल रुका ख्वाबों का कारवां और फिर चल दिए तुम कहाँ हम कहाँ तुम देखी थी कोई उजली किरण तुम थे या कोई कली मुस्काई थी खुशियों की घटा छाई। तुम देखे था कोई फूल खिला, तुम थे या मिला था मुझे नया जहां। दो पल रुका ख्वाबों का कारवां, और फिर चल दिए तुम कहाँ हम कहाँ। दो पल की थी ये दिलों की दास्तां, और फिर चल दिए तुम कहाँ हम कहाँ। Again, if we look at it, is this pain? Is this suffering not as an evidence to their committed love? Do we see embers of the same sacrifice and or literature? For instance, in an interview, Lata was asked about her routine in the 50s and 60s, the pinnacle of her career, and she said, I never had time. I was busy moving from one studio to the other. Sometimes she even forgot to eat. And at least 6 songs would be recorded in one day on the set. So there's a certain austerity in the way in which Lata has built her career. And not just Lata, any artist requires that extent of austerity. In Lata's case, since she belonged to an older period of time, and also because of her personal history and personal background and the family life she led, Lata's life was not an easy one. It was an extremely taxing life, and it was an extremely rigorous life of an artist. It has, I think, it also has to got to do with the person she is, the kind of person Lata was, her intense dedication to her art, which she used to call her prayer. It was almost a prayer for her. So it's not surprising why Lata was chosen as a voice, unlike Asha. Why Lata was always chosen as the voice for songs that epitomized bhakti, epitomized surrender to a country, epitomized that arduous, trying love, that demanded, that tested the human will and patience. Because it's important to talk about this part of Lata's growth as an artist, because often we see only the end stage of an artist's journey, the stage of accolades and rewards that she has received. But there is also a phase of this sweet suffering. I think Lata found a lot of meaning in this suffering. And I think that's also why she could identify with the idea of suffering in love, because she also suffered in her love for her music. And this suffering helped her find beauty in strange bonds of love that today we might call as toxic. Like in the film Abhiman, it's about a couple who are very competitive. One person becomes competitive towards the later part of the film. The hero is a playback singer who asks his wife to also become a singer, and once she starts becoming more accepted than him, he becomes jealous, he becomes possessive, and the film is about that. But the film was highly known for its music, for the beautiful numbers Lata sang, and she could beautifully give voice to a Jaya Badhuri who is literally weeping on stage as she's singing a song. Today, we'll consider this as a toxic relationship. It is a toxic relationship. It's detrimental to two people's growth as artists, especially to the woman's. But again, she, as an artist, she found nuance even in that state. She found nuance, she found beauty, even in that conflicting state of the woman who is still in love with this man and is an exceptional singer. तेरे मेरे मिलन की ये रहना हो, तेरे मेरे मिलन की ये रहना, नया कोई गुल खिलाएगी, नया कोई गुल खिलाएगी, तभी तो चंचल है तेरे ना, देखो ना तेरे मेरे मिलन की ये रहना, नन्हा सा गुल खिलेगा अंगना, सुनी बैया सजेगी सजना, जैसे खेले चंदा बादल में, खेलेगा वो तेरे आंचल में, चंदनिया गुनगुनाएगी, चंदनिया गुनगुनाएगी, कभी तो चंचल तेरे नैना, देखो ना, देखो ना तेरे मेरे मिलन की ये रहना. So love can also be so many things. It can be negative things also. It can be jealousies, insecurities, possessiveness, all the toxic elements one runs away from in a damaged relationship. It could be a love that where we end up hating the very same people who we passionately love. So these are two sides of passion. So one doesn't cancel the other off. And let's not take away from the fact that Lata was not just singing about platonic goody love or the conventional accepted norms of Indian kind of a love, but she also talked about the body in love. Lata, who sanctified love as an abstract, sometimes unearthly pursuit, suddenly infused a lot of sensual tension into her voice. The same voice that expressed to us feelings of loss, quiet suffering, and pangs of separation now burns with desire. Like this. अंग अंग में जलती है दर्द की चिंगारियां, मसले फूलों की महक में तितलियों की क्यारियां, रात भर बेचारी मेहंदी पिसती है पैरों तले, क्या करूं कैसे कहूं रात कब कैसे ढले, जिया जले जान चले नैनों तले, धुआं चले, रात भर धुआं चले, जानू ना सखी रे, जिया जले जान चले नैनों तले, धुआं चले, रात भर धुआं चले, जानू ना सखी रे, जिया जले जान जले. She's literally talking about a body that's burning desire, about a woman who's twisting and turning in her bed, anticipating of her union with her lover. So it's also interesting that it's not any modern young singer of the time who was singing the song, but a 70-year-old lady clad in her white cotton sari who had to take care of a family at the age of 13 when her father passed away, who forgot to eat because she had songs to sing, for whom music was a prayer. She kept defining and redefining love for us, almost confused us with thinking what really love was all about. Like any great artist, she reminded us that she cannot be boxed, love cannot be boxed, and life cannot be seen in black and white. Thank you.
Thank you, Pashadi. That was a beautiful session. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Shyam.
I'm
Thanks.
sure that all of us enjoyed it, even students and teachers enjoyed it. And so you actually took us to a trance. Actually, it was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Now the session is open for discussion. I invite students to talk to Pashadi. Akhila, are you there?
Sir.
Akhila? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah. It need not be a question. Maybe you can talk about how you felt, and or if you have any disagreement with the Priyanka is asking some question.
Hello, Parshati.
Hi,
Devi.
Priyanka.
It has been a great musical and intellectual treat for me. I know,
Okay.
and the interesting thing is, before after my session was over, I had texted Janaki ma'am that this
Okay.
happened, this happened, and I told her, after my session, after the lunch break, you are speaking and all. So, and
Okay.
when you were singing, I actually couldn't help remembering Janaki ma'am singing in the classroom. Somewhere you were, the voice felt so similar.
Okay. Yeah.
And then, you know, okay, my topic was actually on self desire and crossing the desert.
Mm.
You know, it's where I try to mention the film like Breaking, Rudali and all.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So, when you talked about the body in love, actually that
Mm.
was a complete picture now. Self body got that larger framework. You actually got a larger framework.
Mm.
And I don't know what to ask, but yeah, it was a musical treat for me. I'm still, when you talked about love as an experientiality and how certain artwork actually helped it grow and glow. That was really I'm still lost in that moment.
Okay.
Mm. And then when I talked, I actually and concluded my talk with a um, shairi from Mirza Ghalib, and like this, you know, ना मैं जानती हूँ जन्नत की, लेकिन no, it's actually like ना मैं मालूम है जन्नत की, लेकिन दिल को खुश रखने को खालिद ये ख्याल अच्छा है.
Mm.
Have to say about this poetry, poetry having to do or having the potentiality to replace religion
Mm. Yeah.
about it. And that's one
Okay.
thing, and
Mm.
just popped in my mind is you've been talking about what kind of hard work and discipline had went into build such
Mm.
a in Lataji. Now, myself, I'm not a trained singer, but whenever I happen to watch somebody performing classically and all, I feel a bit jealous. And when we went through Lataji's life itself, she had been starting she had started singing from 5 years. And
Yeah.
how it went, she had to do that, and that's how
Yes.
she became this. And I'm not talking about the fame and all, but we have the sense of fulfillment when we
Yeah.
do something that we really love. So
Yeah.
what's on these?
Yeah. I feel she had a great life. Like, she was working till the end of her last breath, and it's not painful for her. She enjoyed it, and she found meaning in her work, and that's the most beautiful part of her art she practiced. To see that is a so it's not suffering. It's for her. It gave her meaning. Yeah, that's true.
So if there are no other questions, then we will wind up the session.
Thank you so
We'll wait
much,
for.
Shyam,
Yeah.
for giving me this opportunity. And I had a great audience also. So I'm very happy for this. Thank you.
We are so happy actually, Pashadi, and thank you for accepting our invitation. And definitely on, after this COVID, we all should meet, and that time we hope that you will come in person to our department. And
Sure. Oh, I would
sure,
love to do
thank
that.
you,
Yeah.
thank you,
Okay.
Pashadi,
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.
thank you. Yeah. Akhila, shall we wind up?
Yes, sir. So thank you, ma'am, for such a wonderful session. Uh, as mentioned earlier, it was actually a musical read for us rather than as a session or discussion. Actually, we was waiting for your next song. After you explain each lines, we was actually waiting for the next song that you would sing. So it was really a very wonderful and sweet session. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all. And once more, I thank all students and faculty who attended here, and especially the coordinator of this webinar, Shyam sir, for wonderfully organizing this webinar for us. Thank you, sir, and thank you all.
Thank you. We'll wind up the session. Thank you.